Hey, Chris, how are you today?
Hey, doing well. How are you, Sharon?
Blessed, I'm going to say, and always a pleasure to look at you right there in the back of your house with that scenic view. That's fantastic. It
Thank
just
you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
makes me jealous. I am Sharon Porter. I'm head of public relations for INLIVIAN, and that is my partner, my colleague, Chris Campbell. And Chris, what do you do?
I'm the Senior Vice President of Community Partnerships, and always good to be on Live TV with you, Sharon.
Always good to have you. And so we joined to talk about our partnerships, and we have an amazing partner joining us today. And that is Atrium Health, because they've been doing some fantastic stuff, particularly, I mean, always a great partner, but particularly with COVID.
Yeah, the thing with Atrium Health is that they're pulled in all different directions. Everyone wants to try to connect with them for the great services. And so we were fortunate enough the early part of the pandemic last year to start really connecting with them. And now we have a relationship that's really going to grow. And I think that's going to be a fulfilling partnership for a long time.
All right, so let's welcome Miss Elaine Jones. Hi, Elaine, how are you? Uh-oh, hold on.
Okay.
There we go.
All
Now
right.
we can hear you.
My technical team being myself, I had to fix that. Hi, Sharon and Chris.
Hey, Elaine.
I'm so excited to be here with you all and be able to share a little bit about what's going on with the relationship that we have been so blessed to have forged with you all, and what's going on with Atrium, and give some information and broaden views and perspectives today.
All right, so it's been a challenging year for everyone, right? And you've been a great partner in working with seniors. How has this past year and a half impacted seniors? As you're a nurse, you work for Atrium, what are you seeing firsthand?
So I get to wear two hats within Atrium and Sanger Heart and Vascular Institute. So I am their community engagement manager, but I am also a 30-year veteran in the role as a registered dietitian. So I have been talking about food and food access and using food to address chronic disease issues, but also to prevent chronic disease issues, and its role in our infection rate and how our bodies can boost their immune systems. So with what I've seen with this pandemic for the past 18 plus months is a lack of seniors being able to have the same access to healthy foods. And I have seen a lack of access to their community support networks, to family members even, because when we have a lockdown, that goes across the board for everybody, and typically seniors can have a harder time getting out to see those family members, and many of them rely on those family members and support networks coming to them. And when you have a crisis like we have been going through, it's harder for people to navigate their own worlds, plus make sure that they're taking care of their loved ones who may be in that senior age block. And yet those seniors are often the ones who have been dealing with also managing their own chronic disease issues. And support is something that really impacts our ability to make it through managing symptoms and feel hope in that we are going to live beyond maybe what was projected if we are balancing issues with chronic disease like hypertension, heart failure, diabetes, maybe loss of memory. And the frequency with seeing family members and our loved ones or our faith community or wherever you find your support has been taken away from us during this pandemic. And it really brings down our spirit, and we can find helplessness and hopelessness creeping in more often.
So that's a lot of overwhelming things you mentioned that families are going through. But if you're caring for someone that's a senior, or you have a senior that's living with you, what should you really be mindful of? I know my mother's 86. I try to go visit her as much as possible, but are there some things I really need to be paying close attention to?
You do. One of the things that happens as we all age, um, our our taste changes, our taste perception, our choice of foods change. We don't drink as much fluid as our body needs, and a lack of hydration can lead down the line, if it's over a long period of time continued, to other complications in our health. Um, our sleep cycles change. And I think maybe asking questions about, how are you sleeping? How have you been eating?
Mm,
Really being attentive to, have you seen changes in their weight? Has there been progressive weight loss? And as we lose weight, something that seniors deal with that a lot of people don't recognize is, as we lose weight, we can actually lose weight in our mouth and in our gums. And so for individuals who have been experiencing a need for dentures, for example, dentures don't fit as well once we've lost a considerable amount of weight. And if you think about it, if your teeth aren't fitting right and you have relied on dentures, you're going to struggle with the same textures, like if proteins like steak, if you're a steak eater, or chicken, that maybe you're needing to go more towards the fish and the ground meats, for example. So weight can change a lot of things in individuals as we age, and not getting the right nourishment and the right hydration can really impact their quality of life. And that's something you should be checking in on, as well as, how are they handling these stresses? What other support networks do they have that maybe they need to reach out to? And check on their mental well-being as well. Have those conversations about how they're feeling about life, how they're handling all, this bombardment of news and
yeah,
information that's coming in, and the negativity that's associated with that, and just
Gotcha.
get them talking through that.
Yeah, good.
I, I think you've brought up some great things. I've just been listening, and I remember at the early part of the pandemic. I remember it was Dr. Phil, saying that it's the emotional impact is going to have a far greater reach
Mhm.
than the physical impact, because of the isolation, because of the depression. And so for seniors, and to your point, who have limited ability, it's probably impacting them at levels that we can't even imagine, and you can't automatically see it.
That is absolutely right. It's mental wellness is more of a hidden. We can't always read people's expressions. We we have different cultures that handle mental health in different ways, whether they're accustomed to talking about it. I love that Atrium Health is really making a charge to address mental health, and are having more community health workers hired into our system to get out there and meet people where they are, and find out what their specific and personal needs are, and addressing and really starting those conversations about mental health needs. And it's not always that people have to have something wrong, but isolation creates a lot of depression, to your point, Sharon. And
Mm,
it's hard for us to know, well, how do we address that? What are the right ways to start talking about that? And if you as a loved one are opening up those conversations and starting them, to get your seniors in your life and in your community talking about it, that's how we start to know more more specifically what their needs are, and then can connect them with resources.
Yeah. So, Elaine, I'd like to talk a little bit about vaccinations, and specifically about seniors and maybe their fear of vaccinations.
Yes.
How should we address that topic when you have someone that's a senior that might be fearful of the vaccination?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is there is no need to be fearful of the vaccine. There has been so much time and energy spent on negative messaging out there around these vaccines. And what we are seeing is the enormous benefit to those that have been vaccinated. When you're looking at the number of people that are inundating our healthcare our healthcare system, not just for Atrium, but across the United States, and you're looking at over 97% or close to 98% of those that are needing the most acute care are those that have been unvaccinated. And when you think of, especially for seniors, right, when we were talking about, it all goes together, we're talking about chronic disease. And if you can imagine a hospital system that is taxed, like no free beds, as an example, and for a senior or an elder to have a complication or a cardiac event and they need the help, of course we are going to help them. But sometimes our reaction or our ability can be delayed if we are being labored with all the number of people that are in there for what could have been prevented. This vaccine is almost like a wall, a barrier for those that have been vaccinated. We are not seeing them needing the same care. Those that are unvaccinated are coming in droves right now, and the upset that has a long-term impact on their lives when you are seeing long-term health issues associated with this virus that we have yet to really get our finger on what the long-term impact is from those that have suffered from COVID. And it's spreading to our youth now, and we want to be able to come back together, but we need to do it safely. There is no microchipping that's happening because of this vaccination. There are no serious complications from this vaccination. It is what should be done by all of us so that we can get back to normal in the same way that polio vaccines were created, right? And smallpox vaccines were created. We have technology which we did not have back then, which has allowed a larger platform for the negative voice to come out, where we didn't have to battle that when previous vaccines were being developed. It was just the right thing to do, and you wanted to prevent it and save your family member, right, from the complications associated with this. And do not listen to the negative stories out there about this vaccine, and just go get vaccinated, and we'll bring the vaccine to you too. You know, we're trying to coordinate all of that to take all of the work out of it for you all.
I mean, so that speaks, that one, you make a great point about polio and smallpox. And I guess that if you are talking to a senior, just remind them, it's not unlike these things that we had to do with these vaccines so that we could all get back together. But let's talk about, to your point, you guys coming out and bringing it to people's doors and your partnership with us. Let's talk about the what you're doing with our seniors.
Absolutely. So far we have had incredible participation, actually, with our first two INLIVIAN health screening events. We've made some great partnerships with other nonprofits in the community that have come to support with education and access to care. We've been screening for blood pressure and blood sugars and talking individuals through what their numbers mean, and trying to encourage them to seek follow-up care if the numbers indicated that maybe their blood pressure's too high or their blood sugar is too high. We talk about healthy eating, plate method. You know, we're giving information on how to reduce the amount of salt that you're taking in to help handle I'm going to say disease better through your food choice, because food is medicine, and that is a wonderful place to start by what you're putting into your body. But we would also like to be able to provide access to vaccines, and to make that something that we include in these health screenings is something we would like to do moving forward, and to bring individuals out. It's a very festive nature in the way that we have set up these health screenings. I got to tell you, your seniors population has moves and boogie woogies to music like I have. It brings me such joy. And I can't help, the music moves me too, but it is all just a wonderful nature of community and us coming together. And it's lighthearted. Healthcare and Atrium Health and Sanger Heart and Vascular Institute, we're not there to judge anybody. We are there to provide information and to help you on your personal journey, whoever you may be and whatever your circumstance. And everybody has the opportunity to make better choices. And the vaccine is another opportunity to make a better choice with your life and your health and for your family, and would love to continue this opportunity to schedule more events for your seniors.
Yeah, Elaine, I'm glad you mentioned about how fun the events are, because they're really a lot of fun. Elaine is probably the best dancer that I've seen in any of our partnership engagements. Talk about smooth moves, light on her feet. She's laughing because she's telling the truth. Elaine can, any Motown song you put on, Elaine is on it with the move. So thank you for bringing that energy, and your team is fantastic. Sherry, Patrick, I got to mention them. They're fantastic, but they make it a lot of fun. So along those lines, what surprises you the most, Elaine, really about what you do and the seniors you meet? What really kind of stands out when you're out?
Oh my gosh, I love their stories, honestly. And I gotta go back to the music. I love their moves. I love their spirit. I mean, I think of myself and Sharon, when we first had our first event at Charlottetown Terrace and Chris came out with the music, oh my gosh. I've grown up with music. Music has been a huge part of my life and my upbringing, and important to my family. And I can't help but move. But the smiles and the stories that came from that, and what this song meant to them, and it's universal, and so is love and caring for your family members and your community. It's universal language too, and community lifts us. And I think right now that has been such a crucial missing piece of our day-to-day lives. And for those that are in this senior population may feel a little more isolated and locked in, and us coming to them and saying, come on outside.
Yeah.
We're out here for 3 hours. Oh, and by the way, we're going to maybe raffle off some Food Lion gift cards.
Yep.
And they stay out for the fun.
Yeah.
And we've brought, we've had incredible donations from Plato's Closet, and Patrick Crockett on our team facilitated that relationship. And to have individuals not just shopping for themselves. One of the beautiful things I have seen is they have found clothing items that they're thinking, oh, my granddaughter would love this. Let me pull this out, and she's going to be so excited. And it gives us an opportunity to also give them something that they can gift on themselves. Right?
Yeah.
It's almost like bringing a little bit of a boutique feel to these, where they can we're bringing the shop to them, so to speak, and they can shop for themselves. They can ask any questions about health and wellness. And if we don't have the answers, we'll get them that care and that connection that they're looking for, and make sure that we are really circling back with those resources, whether or not we have them on site or not. And I would encourage anybody watching this to come out for our next shindig, wherever it might be at one of your facilities, because we want to have fun with you all too.
Yeah.
So do you need any volunteers?
Oh, yes. And I will say, at our last event last week, the volunteers, they came out. I wasn't expecting it, but we had residents come out and help set up our tables and our tents and our clothing and get us squared away, and came back and, were the first to participate, which is great, because just like any great dance party, you need the first people to go, and to draw them in, and whether they were standing, shaking a little. I mean, I've seen moves in wheelchairs and with walkers that I didn't know was possible. And I saw a gentleman move and squat and bend down and shake his stuff last week. And he didn't need help getting back up, and then the stories of his history, because of how well the residents know one another and share their own personal lifetime stories that they then turn around and share with us, and the joy that they have in sharing stories about, well, so-and-so, was a prize fighter back in the day, or so-and-so is a Vietnam vet, or it's a beautiful thing. And I love that aspect about community, and also the gift that seniors give us with their stories and their wisdom is so incredibly powerful and touches my heart every time. And so if anybody wants to come out and volunteer, bring it on. Be a part of the party. We would love to have you.
That's great. Well, I don't want to share you with anybody. But I know I can't do that. It's been such a great relationship we're building here. But how can people get in contact with you?
So my number is posted here, and if you would like to be a part of what we're doing, please reach out. If there are struggles you're having with nutrition, for example, or other elements of health that you feel you would like us to get you connected to a resource within Atrium Health, leave a message if I'm not there to pick up the phone, and I am happy to call you back and provide those resources. And, if you want to just search for general information, you can find a physician. We have the Find a Doc on atriumhealth.org, and reach out, and we will get you connected with whatever resource. We also have a resource that is called our Community Resource Hub, which there is a link to on our main website that helps individuals with utilities, with food, with
housing.
Housing. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You're listed on there as a community partner. And so whatever the need may be, you really all you have to do is type in your zip code, and it shows you all of the community resources in your area. Or if you are really technologically savvy, you can find resources for family members, other family members in this area that you're advocating for.
Wonderful. So the number for everyone is Elaine's number, 704-468-3224. And the website is www.atriumhealth.org. We had anticipated an event tomorrow, but weather looks like it's going to cancel the plan. So make sure you check back to our social media pages, because we'll definitely have the information there. Elaine, Chris, thank you again. Thank you so much. This has been really eye-opening. And Elaine, I want to thank you for sharing just thoughts about how to communicate with seniors and kind of tap into maybe some of those unseen challenges. I mean, that was very helpful.
Absolutely. I really appreciate so much you all inviting me to be a part of this today, and inviting us to have this relationship that we can just grow from here.
Thank you, Elaine, for everything.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.